as always, episode 11, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff that I can't remember, but we're going to be talking about loads of stuff. I've one going to be talking about God of War, and Funny Bits Boy has got his own little section to do, so it's Bits of Beth, and we also have Joke of the Week, and we're probably going to talk about releases up and coming, and there's a bit of news as well tonight. It might not be a long one, because if I talk about God of War, I'll be here till 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to keep it really short, my section. Just go and buy it. There you go, I'm done. And that's it. That's it for me. Right, bye, everybody. How you doing, John?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't change the title. That's nice.
Promo.
And we are live. Hello,
Yay.
everybody. Welcome to the Bits and Pieces podcast, episode 11. As you know, as always, I am joined by the Freddy Show and Pizza Beth. In case you didn't already know, that was twitch.tv/Freddy Show /Pizza Beth and /Funny Bits Boy. If you're not already watching on my channel live, welcome in, everybody. How you doing? How's your week been? How's everyone going?
Going good.
Going good?
Still alive.
Still alive. Hopefully, no interruptions this week with broken things, but you never know. These things happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, my luck. I wouldn't put it past blowing up tonight. So there you go.
Right. I'm just respectfully making sure that you're both on. I'm viewing you both because you're both live as we are speaking right now.
Yeah, live on Twitch. As always,
we are speaking.
We are speaking now. We are live. Right, there we go. So we're going to talk about so obviously some games. We're going to spotlight a couple of games. We've got coming up. I'm going to be talking about Prognostic, which is a game that I've been playing most recently. And then we've got a bit of news coming up as well. I was going to jump into a bit of news and just ask the question: do we need handhelds? We'll find out that later. Also, I think Beth Freddie might have some other games that they want to talk about as well. So, without further ado, should we jump into spotlights, guys? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll jump in first this time. I'm going to jump in because I'll probably talk the longest. I'll probably waffle on the longest. But anyway, God of War released this week on PC. However, I had the PS4 version and played it on the PS5, so I've already completed it 100% of the game, platinum the game. I'm done. It is one of the best games ever made, bar none. If you haven't followed the God of War series, where have you been? It's like one of the most successful franchises ever on console and handheld across the Sony PlayStation Vita. You remember that? It doesn't exist anymore, but that was a very, very popular title on that system that had about 7 exclusive games on there that filled out the God of War storyline. But if you don't know who he is, it's Kratos. Is a big, angry, bearded man who goes around bitch slapping gods until they literally rips their heads off and then does a Duke Nukem. No, he doesn't. He just rips their heads off and keeps it as a trophy. He's a very strong god. Basically, he's like a demigod, but he's more or less a god now. All the powers he's absorbed over the course of about 15 games now, I think it is. So this is the 4th one in the series. This follows on from God of War 3. However, the in between and what happens between God of War 3 and number 4 is actually a digital comic, which you can read for free online. Just a quick Google. And that explains how he ends up in Norse world. So if he was a Greek god, basically, and he had a war with Ares, Zeus, and he killed all of the Pantheon, and he went through every single one of them, Hercules included, kicked the crap out of all of them because they murdered his wife and forced him to murder his wife and kid, and ruled and forced him to become a slave to the gods' whim. And he basically rebelled. He got sent down to the underworld like 4 times, came back every time, stronger and different powers. And he's a man on a mission. He's a bearded man of boy. So he likes to shout
Boy.
at his boy in this game. So it's commonly called as God of Boy. So it's he does shout at his son in this one. I'm not going to go into too much spoilery territory, but a long story short is that unfortunately he meets a new wife, and at the start of the game he's burying her, and she has a last request, which is take her ashes to the tallest part of the world and scatter them for her as a per their tribe tradition. This leads him onto a massive quest, which basically outs him as a god in this world, which he was trying to hide from. The Norse gods become aware of him, and then they start attacking him, hunting him down, trying to find out what his deal is, and then by proxy his son as well. This leads him to go across multiple parts of the world and traveling via teleportations and stuff in the actual world as well. And it's amazing. There is not much I can say that isn't glowing with respect for it. It's got one of the best combat mechanics in any game. It is literally fluid motion, animation, story driven. It's just you feel every punch, you see every crack of the shield, every swing of his axe, every counter. It's all impactful and has meaning behind every strike. You really do feel like Kratos could literally tear these people apart with just a blink of an eye. And not only that, the god fights, the boss fights are great. The storyline is amazing. It's brilliantly voice acted. There's lots of famous people in. And I'm playing the Ragnarok trailer for the second one. I'm playing the Roll trailer, but anyway, it is literally incredible. I think like basically, if it's a must-own game, it's made by Santa Monica Studios, who actually were going to go bust before they released this. They poured everything into this. And the guy that made it, I can't remember his name, the creator of the Santa Monica Studios, basically said if this had worked, they would have gone under. So this is one of the highest grossing games of the PS4 era. For quite some time. I think it's like 15 million copies sold within the first week or something like that. Let me get the actual figure up. While I break my computer. Hang on.
I remember. Oh, sorry.
It's all right. You carry on. You fill in while I'm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you were concerned about the I think the port or the fact that it was
Yes.
coming to PC.
Yes. I've looked into it. It seems to be okay so far.
Okay. Because I saw Dan's Gaming playing it, and it looked pretty good from what I saw. So hopefully it'll be all right.
So as you can see there, it sold 19.5 million copies.
Wow.
So that is incredible for a game, and that's why we got the sequel. God of War, essentially Ragnarok, the second one, comes out this year. I don't know when exactly, but it is simply like it's incredible. No, you are right. The PC release is why I mentioned it. It comes out on PC, and I was quite concerned when I first heard about the PC release and how they were doing it. But to be fair to them, they've done a good job. It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. I think it's sitting at $34.99. Let me just check. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. Just
1 second, because my computer is slow as anything right now. I've got a hamster in it. I'll keep giving him peanuts.
It's $39.99.
Ah, that's close. Right, so it's £40, and for that you get about 60 to 150 hours worth of gameplay. And that's including multiple playthroughs, finding all the secrets, all the hidden gems, all the hidden stuff, and there's quite a lot of hidden stuff as well. And if you've followed the storyline a long time and you followed Kratos from his early days, you're pleased to know that a familiar weapon does make its way back into the game. We're a bit halfway through, so you will be literally slack-jawed at how that comes about, because how that is revealed is simply amazing. It's one of the best single-player experiences you'll ever have. It is one of the best games you'll ever own. It is literally a masterpiece. And I'm not the only one that says that. I think pretty much anyone that's played it and reviewed it has said the same thing. So I would urge everybody who hasn't played it and doesn't have a PS4 to pick up the PC version if your machine can run it. It does have quite high specs, so bear that in mind if you want a decent 30 FPS minimum frame rate. Anyway, have you guys played it?
I shamefully have to say no, I haven't, and it's one of those.
Unfortunately, me too.
Yeah, no, I've seen so many people get this, and I was one of those. I'm one of those, like, I'm very cautious about overhyped games, whether or not they're going to be just overhyped. And then we've seen it before in the past where games have come out and they've been so over. Because I was never really, and shamefully I say this as a gamer, but I was never sold on the idea of God of War, and I didn't realize how good it was when it came out, and it was. And I, like I said, I'm very ashamed of myself right now for not having at least played one of them. But when it came out on the PlayStation, I had so much games I needed to play. Excuse me. And yeah, I want to now get it now that it is on the PC, and I've converted from like being a PlayStation owner to, like, going from console to PlayStation. I don't feel too bad about actually paying £40. I mean, if it becomes available on Game Pass, then obviously I'll go for that because it becomes a little bit cheaper. But obviously it probably won't because it's PlayStation and then it's gone on to PlayStation.
It won't
Yeah,
go on Game Pass.
but no, I get why it won't do that. But no, the fact that PC now have the right to play it. So yeah, I think I will pick this up now that we kind of understand a little bit, like Bess was mentioning about whether whether it be optimized correctly or anything. Is there going to be any problems for it? It sounds like it's doing really well at the moment. I think there's probably PlayStation people who have got PC as well and got access to it. It's one of those. I think it's replayability, like you said. It's got so many hours in it. Yeah. I think there's a lot to. Yeah, so I missed out on the first time round, so I'm glad.
And myself too.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's come out.
I just want to say that I do have it on PlayStation. I have a PlayStation, and I have it. I just never got around to playing it. I don't know why. I guess I was just playing other games and stuff. But saying that, I haven't completely not touched it and not like played, like put it in my PlayStation and played around. And when I played, it looks great. But I'm tempted, like Steve was saying, to pick it up on PC because obviously I got a bad PC now, and I feel like it'll be a great experience to try it on my PC instead of my PlayStation. Just because I'm not sure about my PlayStation, it's a bit, So, but I'm definitely gonna pick it up at some point and play it. So. Please don't murder us, please. We're sorry, Gamer Gods. We're so sorry.
Gamer Gods, we're bleeding
disappointed in you both. I am.
I'm ashamed to have host a gaming podcast, and I haven't played one of the highest grossing games of, like, when it first came out. I think
2018. Yeah,
2018.
Forgive us.
But we are, But
we all mend our sins.
We've been given a second bite of the cherry with this. Like there's a lot of games that didn't. Yeah, we've got an opportunity to actually play it. Like Beth said, with a slightly better spec than maybe a PlayStation had. We could actually enjoy it. I'm kind of, like I said, I've converted over to a PC now. I do find, even with games that acquire controller on a PC, I do find myself still trying to use the keyboard and mouse. I've converted. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't apologize for being a gamer on a PC, actually. But there you go. Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes
it happens. Yeah, but it's good that it's come out. That's going to clash in with so many games that I want to play as well. Like, no, I will purchase it as soon as I get some actual readies. Once my check clears and all that, I will put that into my library.
I will just quickly touch on that. You don't have to have played the previous games to pick up where the story leads off, because it's explained in the game by Kratos himself a bit later in the game. He explains a little bit what's happened to him and where he's come from, and it kind of gives you the gist of where he's been. And the core of the story is basically a father-son story where he's grappling with his responsibility of trying to be a mentor father to this kid and protect him at the same time. and he's trying to live up to his wife's standards, but he's become so scornful and vengeful and distant from people that it's hard for him to reconcile with his son. So it becomes a very good father and son adventure where they grow together, and they have quite a lot of really really high tension dialogue. There's a lot of stakes in this game, and it could easily be a film. I'm quite surprised it's not a
It
film, to
is.
be honest.
Mm.
Kind of is already.
It literally is. And as I say, it is best experienced in 4K. It's best, obviously. But I would say that to get the proper experience of this game, you need to play it and just play that, and that's it. Play it from start to finish. No picking up or playing anything else, because you will lose track of what's going on and you will lose track of the story, because it is quite complicated at times. I played it from start to finish without nothing else in between, and that's rare for me, because I usually drop it and play something else for a little while. But that is a testament to how addictive this game can be, and how you want to know what happens. So I started when it first came on launch day. I started playing at 7 o'clock in the evening. By the time I looked at my watch again, it was 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
That's how
Oh
that's how
wow.
that's how engrossed I was in the story, and not
Oh wow.
and doing
Okay.
stuff and not paying attention to what was happening. I didn't even feel tired until I looked at my watch and I was like, oh, poo.
Damn.
I was very very grumpy the following day.
I bet.
And Mrs. weren't too happy with me either, but it was worth it. Um, I still go back, and I know I've 100% the game. I'm still trying to get all the armors and stuff for him. And there's I'm not saying you can fight some slight spoiler, you can fight some Valkyries, which are hidden bosses, and they drop all the armor pieces and stuff. And there's one in particular that I'm stuck on, and I'm playing on the hardest setting, which is another thing I never do, because I always play on the easiest mode. So this game on hardest setting is brutal. Um, but it's skill versus it's a very skilled game. So if you're it's like Dark Souls. It's like Dark Souls. If you're not good at parrying, you're going to suffer in this game. You
Yeah.
will suffer. Dodging as well. The mechanics are there's climbing, there's platforming. I didn't really go into too much detail. I was too like, the story. It's very much reminiscent of Uncharted on steroids, with
Okay.
a guy that is basically stronger than everyone in the MCU. It's like having Thor, but at his prime and maxed out, and
Yeah.
the whole throwing axe and calling it back mechanic is so satisfying. It's just a and he's just when you just call it back, and it's just a ding. It's just it's every time I'm just like, yeah, it's just so good, and I can't praise it enough. Honestly, it's 40 quid, but honestly, it's probably the best 40 quid you'll spend on a single player title. And I can't give it any more endorsements than it is a must-own game. And
Okay.
I'm not gonna. There was some DLC planned for it, but they scrapped it to work on the sequel because how popular it was. They weren't expecting it to do as well as it did. So they basically said, "Well, we could make DLC, but we'd rather get a sequel made, and then we'll make DLC for the sequel." So the sequel is going to have DLC.
Right.
Okay.
And that's going to feature lots of little things. But just to quickly touch on the God of War Ragnarok, which comes out this year, it's 1.5 years after the events of the first game. That's where it takes place.
Okay.
So that's where it picks up off. So once you've completed the game, we can do a little podcast about how you feel about it, how you like
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
There's lots to talk
Definitely.
about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a goal.
Yeah, and that's me done. Go and buy God of War and buy God of War Ragnarok as well. There you go. Peace.
Okay. Peace. I'm out. Mic
Well
drop.
done. Well done.
Yeah, might drop. Yeah.
I'm gonna wait until I talk about my game, just because I wanna, So I'm gonna do it next time.
You're gonna do it next time now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So I just jump straight into my spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, let's get this going. Let's roll that and then. Okay, so the game I'm going to talk about is Prognostic. Now, Prognostic is it's a first person game. It's story rich. It's an adventure. It's a horror. It's you basically play as an orphan who returns to the house of the deceased fortune teller to uncover the secret of his family's death. And you need to become a prognostic to find out what's going on in the town that you live in. It's very atmospheric as well. It's you basically have to try to solve cases using modern day sort of like or modern things like what mediums usually use to try and find dead bodies, like how do they die, sort of thing. It's by Steepy Hare Studio, so hare as in like the giant rabbit.
Oh,
Yeah,
hair.
so
Yeah.
hares in that. I've never really heard of them before. But this is a early access game available on Steam. It's currently, I think it's I bought this for about £5.19. I mean, I don't even think that's in a sale. It's just, why is it
Yeah.
cheap? I couldn't tell you. I would probably pay a little bit more. I don't think it needs to be that much more. Yeah, it's £5.19. It's got very positive reviews. It came out on the 26th of October. I didn't even realize it was out. But yeah, it's you play basically as a orphan. It's just trying to get some notes from that. Yeah, you got realistic like practices to and uncover secrets of the past. You play as a young man whose family died under the mysterious circumstances. You've got to return to the house of your insane grandmother in order to accept her legacy and become a higher talented medium, a prognostic, and find out those who are responsible for the death of your parents. It focuses and it forces you to sort of like something that you end up conjuring up things. You're in this mansion. Now the game, first of all, when the game starts, you get given the choice to become, need to prove yourself. So you need to be able to prove that you can solve crimes using like things like the dowsing rods, like the two metals, which obviously when the tips sort of touch, it points you in that's where you need to go. I think sometimes it's used as finding water rods and stuff like that, but it's also used to find clues, because there's a couple of rooms that you start off with. When you go in, you get a dossier and it shows you the victims and the suspects, and you need to work out from the victim's date of death who possibly killed that person. There are ways in which you find out. You need to light a candle, a ritual candle, so that you try to summon, like trying to tune into the dead person themselves. And you start, I think the first thing that you need to do is discover what the person had, whether the murderer had brown eyes, whether the person had what color the hair was, so you can try and to get eliminate the innocent and just be left with the murderer. And then you go round with the dowsing rods, and so one of the first things you do is you find a toy, for instance. We found that quite easily. It was a green toy, and then you go back to, there's a book on top of a table. It's a guide of what those objects mean. So in this instance, a green toy meant green eyes. So then you have to put that into the there's a couple of books on the table. It sounds it looks sort of complicated, but once you sort of get past the mechanics of it, it's actually quite straightforward. I wouldn't say easy, because I think I screwed up a couple of times, but you just then got to decide whether the person's got green hair, brown eyes, green eyes, brown hair, blonde hair. And then like I said, it's a mansion, so there's 2 floors, and every time you solve one case, the next day you're invited back again, and a new door around the house has opened. And what's stopping you from uncovering these things are mirrors throughout the house. There's mirrors, and if they're covered up, if they are uncovered by spirits, you've got to quickly cover them up before something happens, and as it starts to involve you in this, you start to notice there's things happening. There's creepy sounds going on. There's a sound of someone being could be strangled or just coughing on water because it's gone down the wrong hole. I don't know. There's a really creepy sounds to it. There's some like mice and rat sounds. The atmosphere is very creepy. Now I play it on stream, and for me, I've got like sound alerts, so people who come into my chat can use those sound alerts to scare me, which they did. Oh boy, did they do that. That was they really went ham on that, and I kind of appreciate it, but not at the same time. The game does have jump scares, and now not everyone's going to have those sound bites that I have. So to fully like, you don't need those sound bites. You can play this game without having those in the background. You can have that. Just the background sounds alone is enough to make you feel very unnervy, to make you feel very nervous about walking around the property when you have to go into a new room to discover where the person was buried. There is a map room. There's a tarot card room, which you open up later on. There is there's a room that you've got to burn the candle. So you have to burn the candle in order to get in tune with the deceased and the spirit world. So you have to be in that spirit realm to discover where the person, like if you got murdered on, I think it's set sort of like in 1904. So everyone sort of like dies prior to that. You need to find out who it is. There was one particular case where it said, I have to look for there was a gang. 2 people did the murder. They know that. We're not looking for the murder. We're looking for where the rest of the gang was hiding. And so that it changes. It's not always looking for the murderer. It's looking for who might be involved in the gang. Where were they on the day that you died? So you go around the house, you check for clues. Different rooms have different ways of finding the perpetrators or the murderer, or whether it's it could be the deceased, it could just be an innocent person. I don't want to give too much away, like as far as the story is concerned, because as the days progress, you start off on day 1. I'm currently on day 9. I feel like I've got far enough into it now that I kind of understand what needs to be done. Like there's a room which has tarot cards, as I mentioned. There's a room which has a zodiac sign, so you have to put on the victim's dossier on a stand, on a lecture in front of you, and then you have to work out from his or her date of birth or date of death, and using their zodiac. If they're a Libra, it would be air. So then on the zodiac, you have to go to air. So then there's once you've got everything in order, so you've got the date, the time, and the the month, so it's like it could be the 1st of January 1904, and they died at 11 o'clock. On the zodiac, it might say day or night, so you also need to work out, is it AM or is it PM? Then you've got to add 12 hours to it if it's nighttime, obviously. That then gives you the clue. So then you go to the map room. There's a map room with the date. You then enter the date of all of the information you just received. So you then put the victim's dossier on to another plaque, what are those things? When you put your paper down, ledgers. That's it. Yeah,
ledgers.
Yeah. So you pull it onto that, and then you've got to use the dowsing rods that go around. That tells you where they died. Then you have to put down the suspects onto the ledger as well. Then cross-reference with that to where they were at the time of the victim's death. So then you find that at 29 Pincia Road, you had the victim and the murderer, and then you cross-reference it and you discover that's who the murderer is. You then go to a dossier in another room of the house and put the evidence in, and you send it off to your partner. You're working with someone who's trying to also help you find who killed your family and who is committing these crimes. As the days progressed, more and more rooms open throughout the house, and I've currently up to the point of finding the tarot cards. Again, whilst you're doing this, you've got to make sure you keep the candle lit so that you stay in contact. But that's not always as simple as it is, because throughout the investigation, throughout the trying to discover what their time had... Now, that's all very simple at first, but there is things like jump scares that happen. It's a horror game. There is something that happens which I crapped my pants. It's very, very scary at times. It's very atmospheric, as I said. There were many, many, many times where I just jumped naturally. And like I said, I'm trying to sell this to people who don't necessarily stream, but I do, obviously, because I do, and I've got sound alerts. There's people in my chat who abuse those sound alerts, and they know who they are.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you now. I know who you are. How dare you? Like I've got a Leroy Jenkins, and I got hit hard with a Leroy Jenkins at the same time as a jump scare happened. So not only did I get jump scared, but I got Leroy Jenkined with my sound alerts. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to have sound alerts when they're playing this. So yeah, the jump scares are there, and it's the timing of them are perfect. When you're just about to solve a crime and you don't have time, you've got to also listen out for the cloth coming off the mirror, because if the cloth comes off the mirror, you open the realm to the deceased. You open the room to spirits coming through and basically haunting you. And so imagine to my shock when I'm trying to hide, I'm trying to quickly detect where these persons are buried, and there's a whisper, and it is like and then you got to quickly rush to the room. And like I said, the more you open on the mansion, the more mirrors it has. I'm currently on 4 mirrors, so I've got to, you've got 2 upstairs, you've got 2 downstairs. And it's like, I've got to do that, I've got to quickly, and then you've got to quickly relight the candles. As I go to relight the candles, something bursts up in front of me, like there's a surprise, and I won't tell you what it is, but you got to find out what it is for yourself. But I did find by day 9, like I said, I've got sound alerts, so that for me that helped my game progress. That helped me go through the game a little bit. I mean, it does help a little bit having those sound alerts. But I do found if my one complaint about this game, I mean, it is in early access, so we mustn't take that away. But the one complaint is that I found sometimes the jump scares got repetitive, because I got back to I got back to an area where I just finished putting back the cloth over the mirror, and there was a sound. Like by the time I got to day 9, I'm on day 9. By the time I got to day 9, I kind of got used to. I have to, go around. I got used to some of the jump scares. It got very, very easy, very repetitive. But I think every time you unlock a new room, you do start to get new jump scares. So whilst you do day 1 to 7, you'll have 1 or 2 jump scares, and then it gets to day 9, you have even more, and more keeps getting added. So it does sort of refresh. So I wouldn't let that put you off. It does refresh, but up to that point, some of them are very repetitive. I would say, if anything, that's the one thing that lets this game down. Excuse me 1 second.
Bless you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
What happens if you fail the case
Oh,
or
right.
the
Yeah.
mission?
Yeah, you can fail the case. You have to restart that day, the whole day again. So you start day
Oh,
one.
yeah,
I did it because like I didn't really know what I was doing at first. So I was
yeah,
like, oh, I got to work it out. By the time I got to the Zodiac room, and I was trying to cross-reference someone who had died with their date of birth, and I kept getting it wrong. I was like, why am I getting it wrong? And I kind of realized what I was doing was I was putting in their date, their time of death as an AM and not a PM. Or I might do their date of birth the wrong way around. So like the month and a day. Like we understand like day, month, and year, but in
yeah.
America it's like month, day, and year. So we're gonna,
Yeah,
you know what I
they do
mean.
it
So
the other way
if they do it the other way around, that can be a little bit sort of confusing.
Oh, I've had that problem before
But
where I
yeah,
play a game and it's yeah.
but yeah, you can fail it if you get the wrong type of evidence. The evidence that you must send off to your friend has to be of the murderer and what clues you can discover. So, like the clues, like I said before, the clues that you could discover is that the killer had green eyes.
Yeah.
The killer had to have been at the location that you died. But yeah, I just like I overthought of some areas, but this has been one of the most atmospheric games I've ever played, like in quite a while actually. It's completely different to how I play Phasmo or any of those ghost
Yeah.
hunting games. It's completely different. It has its own sort of uniqueness to it, and I won't take that. Like everything I've played is different. Not although some of the ghost hunting games they are kind of similar, but in terms of this compared to another horror game, I would say it has that same alien isolation tension to it, where
Okay.
you're quite
That's really intense.
yeah, you're very intense moments when you're like, oh, I've got to quickly run upstairs to quickly make sure, and then when something does happen, you're like, damn, I'm gonna have to. It's very atmospheric. It's very good. Like I said, it's a first person as well, so you got that, and yeah, you're dealing with the unknown. You're dealing with the spiritual realm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna play some more of it. I'm really enjoying playing it. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up now because I've kind of gone on a little bit too much.
It's all
But
right.
it's yeah, like I said, it's on Steam. It's £5.19. I mean, really, my complaint, I've got 9 hours into the game. It's not that long. It does go on for a few days. It's like, yeah, I just picked it up without realizing there have been some other well-known influencers that have played it, but I didn't know that they played it. I just got it. I thought it was interesting. It is, like I said, in early access. It does have very positive reviews. That would either get better or worse, depend. Reviews can change, chop and change, as we all know. But
Hmm.
yeah, if
Nice.
if you like a horror game, that can, like I said, it can be a little bit repetitive, and it's only because I've got jump scares, I've got sound bites in my stream. That's what's kept me going a little bit longer. But like
Yeah.
I said, if you progress into it, more jump scares happen along the way, and that adds to that last jump scare that you just got. But yeah, I like it. I love it, and I can't wait to play some more. I want to finish the game and find out what actually happens. I'm going to finish it this weekend. So yeah, if anyone's about,
Yeah.
come and watch me play it.
I will. I
Now,
definitely will.
so yeah, great horror game. I love it. I loved it. Right,
Nice. Yeah.
that's me done.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, when I was watching you play, it was really fun just to really intense game, and I got offered a key
All
from the
right. Yeah,
developers,
yeah.
but I'm gonna play it, but I'm really scared to play it as well. Like
Oh, you should
just
be.
the atmosphere. You should be scared.
You should be scared. It's scary. No,
Um,
like I said, even if you don't stream it, there's plenty of jump scares there to keep you going. But yeah, as I know you've got sound emotes.
I'm a
as well,
scaredy cat.
so. But yeah, if you do play it, I'll definitely come by. get my revenge.
Sure.
Get my revenge on you for.
I get rid of.
I needed new shorts at the end of the stream. It was like that was just terrifying. I mean, there is a couple of clips where I've gone back to and I've watched it. I actually blamed I blamed someone in my chat for doing it, and it weren't him; it was someone else.
Oh, that's great.
And that's only because they are so well known for using jump scares. Jelly, you know who you are.
Yeah. No, so I'm glad you talked about it, and I'm gonna brave up and play it. Just
brave up.
Yeah.
And if you stream it, I'm definitely jumping in and watching you. I'll definitely come by.
That game gives me the heebie-jeebies. It gives me the Visage vibe, and Visage is another game that I can't play because it literally just scares the living shit out of me.
Visage. Yeah, well done for mentioning that. Yeah,
it's very similar vibes with the whole mirror thing as well.
Yeah,
in Visage, and you have a sledgehammer to smash them in. But anyway, it looks very interesting. I was watching gameplay of it, and they're working out how to do everything, and my brain was just going, what? No, I'm probably just going to end up just walking around and getting killed by the ghosts because if I play it, just what's going to happen.
I was having to pause the games on quite a lot of times on a regular basis. I think when you go into the case files that you're given, I think that automatically pauses the game anyway. But just in case, I kept pressing escape. I'm like, escape, right? Calm down, calm down. Heart rate dropped down from 2,000. Please, because I'm gonna
9,000.
Yeah.
So 9,000.
It was crazy, but yeah.
Nice, awesome. I don't have anything to talk about, so.
Oh right, okay. No worries. But yeah, no, that's me done for the spotlight. But we can actually go into some. I've got some gaming news that I want to talk about. I don't know if anyone else has got some gaming news, but yeah, that's the end of that section anyway for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Freddie, do you have anything you wanted to mention, or Beth, do you have any sort of news or anything gaming related?
The only thing I want to sort of touch on is I don't know if you've heard about the whole Rockstar debacle with Red Dead Online, and GTA Online.
Yeah,
the community is coming together as they're basically trying to shut down Red Dead Online because it's like there's only got a handful of players or something.
Right.
The communities are coming together, and Rockstar are being colossal tits about it, and they're just basically as it comes to where a company gets too big for their boots, and don't appreciate the fan base, don't appreciate the money they've spent, don't appreciate the time they've spent, and they've been in the news this week. The community's up in uproar. I think it was last week actually about it, and it was all over Twitter, and everyone was having Twitter rages about it, and the keyboard warriors are out in force slating the Rockstar, and quite rightly so. And Rockstar just basically said, "Tough, we don't want it anymore. It's garbage." And it's just like, but all these people are because all their games are heavily monetized, right?
Yeah.
So Rockstar is a pinnacle of monetization. They're like worse than EA. I don't know how they're not above EA in terms of their monetization with all the currency they have. You can buy it, And Red Dead Redemption is no different. You need so much gold. I don't know if you've played Red Dead Online.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
So if you played it a little bit, you know that the grind is very real.
It is.
And it's very long and it's very tedious. And unless you spend a few quid, you're going to find yourself very bored very quickly, unless you've got a big community you can sort of draw from and leech off the whale that's funding the community. But it's a very despite how good it is, how amazing the graphics are, how good the gameplay is, the events, etc., all amounts to diddly squat. If the servers are constantly going down, if the game's constantly in disarray, bugs and what have you, if the people who are playing can't play together due to failures in the mechanic of the game that they haven't fixed because of an update. They've fixed this, they've broken this, they've done that. This has been ongoing for ages. And a regular in our community, good old Sneak Assassin, plays Red Dead Redemption, and I played with him online a few times, and I was quite privy to all this. And he has like a moonshine hut where he's making beer and stuff, and it takes him. You can only do like once a day or something. So it's silly. I don't know what it is. Get once, 3 times a day, something like that. But if he wants to make more of it or make more gold or whatever it is, I don't quite understand it. So, but yeah, you can pay you can go £10 and you can get more stuff, and it's just like why? Why can't you just do that in the game? Anyway, why do we have to give you money to? It's already in the game. Just let us have a bit more of it. Stop being. It's what they call throttling.
Yeah.
Or they throttle the XP, they throttle the reward to make you play longer. That is their goal. Keep you playing longer. Get more addicted. To siphon, like I did last week, siphon the money out of your veins and your wallets into their back pockets.
Yeah.
So it's not good. Rockstar, stop it.
Yeah, that's
Stop it.
that is terrible. That's a horrible, like, because like I said, I have played it, and the idea that you're, in order to progress, like you're throwing them a little bit of money, like to get some items within the game, you kind of need gold, and you think, well, there's ways to do it. Is to grind until your eyes dry up and then your fingers sort of bleed, and then you just give, and then you just pull your hair out to the point where you just got no scalp left. It's just there's that way of doing it, or you pay them the money and then in order to, but like, why should I don't like paid walls and anything like that, so I don't like any of those kind of things. I think it's sad that they're going to close it. That's yeah. Don't the amount of people that okay, so the numbers have dropped, but like with the amount of money, they should be able to just say, look, we'll just let our player base, whatever size it is, continue on, because they're the ones that are keeping that company going. Ultimately, they're the ones paying for those wages. Without those people, however small the community is, or however big, obviously if it's a massive community, they'll keep it open because they're going to make even more money. And the idea that they're going to close it down after people have grinded thousands upon thousands of hours. That's the only reason why I gave up on it, because it was too much of a grind, and it wanted too much of my money. I was like, no, I don't care how good that hat looks. I'm not spending £10 of my hard-earned cash, just so I can earn some gold. And it's like the prices within the game, it's so ridiculous how they price things up. Like, you need like 50 gold for a suit, and it's like, I don't have that. I can't, to get that, I had to grind for days. And it's just,
weeks,
it's all weeks. Yeah,
non-stop as well, like morning to night.
Yeah.
Constantly. And it's like, oh, you can play it in moderation. No, you can't. If you want to get anywhere, if you want to get anywhere for free, you've got to put zillions of hours in, like any online game these days, or most of the time. It's just not on. No. It's just not on. It's not acceptable. People don't have that time anymore. It's just, it's stupid. And that's why we don't have the time. Give us 50 quid. You can have all the stuff you want. No. Make your game better. Make your game more reasonable.
People are quite impatient, and they just want everything now, and like they want to earn
teenagers.
now.
Teenagers.
So, it's they're kind of I think what's the word, like, they know that people want stuff now, so they're like, oh, just here, you could pay for it, and they make money off it.
Want it now, do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want it now.
You can have whatever you want. But £60 a day is a contract you can't get out of for 12 years. No. It's evil, and that's the only thing that sort of sparked my interest in the news. There was something regarding Twitch as well, which could land us all in hot water, which I found out a little bit earlier. Have you heard of a streamer called Pokimane?
Yes.
Pokemon.
Yes, Pokimane. Yeah.
Poker face, because she's a bloody twat. What she's basically done is she's gone on and streamed animes and full-fledged movies live on Twitch with no sort of breaks. intuition, any sort of content of herself, literally just live streaming, DMCA'd to the oblivion, copyrighted stuff. And basically, the people that own all this stuff have gone, and Twitch have banned her for a whopping 2 days.
Wow. Wow.
That's so.
And now the repercussions of this now is that this is all some of it, most of this is hearsay, but the word of the grapevine is, for the Twitter feeds that I've watched and some of the videos I've read about it, watched about it, sorry, I've said that basically this is going to lead to another crackdown on DMCA stuff. It's going to be like YouTube, where it's going to have an automated system where you can't use anything copyrighted. You can't use anything on the channel. Like, you can't do reactions out the window, reviews out the window, possibly podcasts out the window. Everything could be in jeopardy because of this one Muppet who knew that it was wrong, because her title of her video was, "Oh, we're going to do this, but hopefully nothing happens."
Oh,
hopefully nothing happens.
This is one of those things I briefly caught the tail end of, and I think I don't know where I heard it from, and I wasn't sure exactly what her punishment was, so I didn't know it was 2 days, first of all. But I had heard that she was doing something that she knew she shouldn't have, but did it anyway because she knew that, flash of the chest, I'm back on the stream, everybody. And it's like, it's so wrong for someone, and I'm not saying that it's because she is female, but it tends to be anyone who can get away with things can get away with it. And it's disgusting how they feel that I make so much money for Twitch, I'm above and beyond anybody else, and if I get told off, I'm only going to get 2 days banned. I'm only going to get a maximum of 3-4 days banned, and everyone else has to stick to the T's and C's of Twitch, and they fear for their life of losing their affiliates. I've managed. It takes so long to become an affiliate. She's obviously a partnership. She's got so many followers, and so many.
She's been in movies and all sorts because of her.
Because of who she is, and it's not. And again, it's not because she is female. It's like it probably has done.
It's just what she's done.
It's just
right?
because of what she does. It goes back to that, like you said, with the YouTube thing, and people just doing what they want. And like the reason now YouTube cut down on so much was because people were getting away with things because they were above. They were the ones that bringing money in for that platform. It's not on. It's very unfair. It's very the way it's all sort of decides.
Yeah, it's unfair for smaller streamers because we kind of get the punishment repercussions.
We get the fallout. We get the fallout of it, and that's the thing that these big streamers don't give a monkey's about.
Yeah,
they've got their £1 million contracts. They've got all their sponsorship deals. Twitch isn't even a main source of income for most of these guys. They've got so much income now from OnlyFans, Patreon, YouTube, ad revenue, AdSense, probably marketing. Pictures and things, catalogs and all that sort of stuff, watches and God knows what else they earn. So she had 32,000 people watching her. Yeah, watch the TV. That was it. She was in pink tracksuit, right, with a slightly low cut top, right, nothing really showing, but suggestive, right. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's wrong because if you're confident, fine, well, you want, I'm going monkeys, right. And but the fact that it's like that sort of just little tidbit lures all the pervs, and that's where most of their money comes from. Is all the lauding perverts, but because of all these idiots that don't care for the terms and conditions, wouldn't say anything in their chat, and they'll just sit there and consume content. Let's just watch this idiot watch a video live on Twitch, and just screw up the rest of it. Screw up Twitch for the rest of us. It's like it goes back to PewDiePie on YouTube.
I was just going to say that, it was the name who escaped me. Yeah, it's PewDiePie who did that thing with...
He caused their ad revenue apocalypse.
Yeah, that's right. Because he had used wrong words.
Yeah. Admittedly, it was taken out of context, but that's what happens on the internet.
Doesn't matter. He said it out of context, and he still said it, and he still said whatever he said.
He said it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't the first time. And then it came to light that everyone else was doing all these horrendous things, and the company was like, "Actually, we're not going to give you any money anymore because we don't want you associated with any of these people." And that's where it all stemmed from. It stemmed from him saying stupid stuff, and then all companies became, all the big wigs became aware of it, and now it's the same sort of thing. The big wigs are all becoming aware of these irresponsible people who generally are usually okay doing something stupid because why? When they know it's stupid, they have the brain capacity to know that it's stupid. They know it's wrong. We all know the DMCA terms and conditions and all of our contracts. We've seen all the emails, we've seen all the tweets, and if you're not following it out on Twitch as an affiliate, then you shouldn't be streaming if you don't know what you're getting into. Right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing it. If you don't aware of the impact you'll have on everyone else by doing something stupid, then you are an ignoramus and should not be on the platform in the first place. And it's disgusting how these big channels come along and like just piss on the rest of us. Oh, we'll do whatever we want. We don't give a monkeys. The higher ups will give us a slap on the wrist. And the thing is, when they come back from their ban, they get a channel boost. So they get a massive influx of subscribers, followers, donations because they're all over. Their names plastered everywhere. So AyaNeo news is always good news, whether it's good or bad. Your name is splattered about everywhere, and because she's already famous anyway, that's just going to be more and more revenue up for and she's going to be laughing all the way to the bank, and the rest of us are going to have to deal with the fallout of these new DMCA things that are going to come. Right? If you think they're not going to happen, they're going to happen. It's going to be later on this year. They're going to be shafted, mega shafted again. And it's it's not fair enough.
No,
not
it's
fair.
Basically they Borised us out of the. They just Borised us, didn't they? They're just like, no, you do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get away with it because I'm better than you and I'm more popular than you and I've got money to actually support my whatever else you need. It's just it is
disappointing.
It is disappointing and like
but I hope we just have to stay together, stay strong, and just be there for each other,
Yeah.
The only problem with that is when the last thing happened on Twitch and all the little ones banded together, I think up 2,000 smaller channels, myself included, that's under 59. I can't remember what it was now, it was a couple of years ago. There was some other DMCA stuff on Twitch, and Twitch just went, that's nice.
It's like when the bots happened, right?
Yeah,
like the hate raids and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, they were just like they didn't care at first. It's only when the bigger ones got involved and the bigger YouTube channels said, "Hang on a minute,
yeah,
why are you not listening to these people? They're technically employees, because we're on a whatever the contract means. I can't remember now. I'm not employed, but you know what I mean. It's just a loosely employed, is in a loosely term. Whatever they want to say about that is that
we're on their platform, and
exactly.
We're
allowed
viewers.
to use it. Yeah, exactly.
We're bringing viewers, and
they earn money from us.
exactly.
They earn money. They make bank off us. Whatever little money we get, they make money, and they don't give them monkeys. If you're going to take money off people, then you are obligated to provide a service for them. If your terms and conditions swing both ways, we agree to your terms and conditions, but then again, you have to agree to terms and conditions for us as well. It's a two-way street. You can't just sit there and go, no, don't want to. No, sorry. No, bank's closed. Computer says no. Go away. It doesn't work like that. Life does not work like that. These big companies, some of them need a massive reality check, and how they treat people is short of disgusting. And we've gone over this before with big companies being complete colossal tosspots to their staff. But I don't want it to be like that. It shouldn't be like that. There's no reason for these companies to treat us like this. If it wasn't for us or our little minnows, they call us minnow channels, grinding our asses off, they wouldn't even have half the income they have. There's only 700,000 affiliated channels out of 12.6 million channels. There's only I think it's 1,700 partners out of all that earn the big bucks.
Yeah.
So the majority of us, the smaller channels, are making the money for it. So when you get these idiots that are in the minority of the channels, the big time channels, they work their way up from, fair play to them, but that doesn't give you the right to be a colossal div and abuse your position, and then start
Nope.
doing stuff that jeopardizes the platform and the rest of us. And what's the matter with you? Listen, it must be empty between the ears to think that nothing's going to happen to everyone else. You might be all right. You got your bank rolls and your whales that have giving you your bloody revenue in the background for your other means. Twitch is just a bit of fun, a bit of laugh. But I've got news for you, people who do this, and this is from me to you. Pack it in. All right, grow up. Stop being irresponsible and treat the rest of us as we treat you, with respect and not stupidity. Think before you do things and stop acting out of your ass just because you think it's a fun thing to do. Rant over.
Well
No,
said.
I got annoyed. I'm sorry.
I know. I could hear
No.
it.
Oh dear. Right. Should we? Should we just move on from that then?
Yeah.
I think we're done
Sorry.
with that. No, it's okay. No.
Oh,
I just thought
no.
we can go into the next. Well, I've got some. I mean, Beth, do you have anything you wanted to add? Because I've got some news anyway. I don't know how else to follow that apart from just.
I know.
Just
Move
moving on. Just
the only thing that I know
Go
of
on.
is that player Unknown Battleground is now free on Steam.
Hey!
Just
Come on,
want yes.
Edition.
Hey! Chicken
Hey,
dinner.
what's up?
We can all get a chicken
free.
dinner.
Win a chicken dinner.
Yeah.
KFC, please.
Also, wait, where
Sorry,
is?
Beth.
No, it's cool. What am I looking for?
Bucket.
Bucket.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, okay. There was another free game that I was gonna recommend to play because it's free and it doesn't like a free game. Where is
If
it?
it's ear licking simulator and it's free, you can count me out.
It's not it. No. I wouldn't even play that myself. Well, okay, you can do your news while I try and find it.
All right. Okay. No, just because it's something that I've never really looked into, and it's handhelds. Because we're almost we're about halfway through January now, and next month, Valve are going to be shipping hundreds of their Valve Steam Deck. Something that I've not been too bothered about handhelds, but I thought this could be interesting to sort of look at because it's so like Valve has shipped hundreds of Steam Deck dev kits in the last month, remain on track for February launch because with the pandemic and stuff, it got put back a bit. According to the latest update from Valve, not only will the Steam Deck ship on time because of the global pandemic, it looks like they'll be able to get started, get these out of the door by the end of February. Plenty of game developers will have their own test deck in advance to help ensure their games are fully compatible with their handheld device. Valve's Deck verified program will give a tick to the games that satisfy its categories for Steam Deck compatibility, including full control support as well as supporting the default resolution of 1280 x 800 or 1280 x 700 with a readable text. A look at Portal 2 in the Steam DB shows that it's already set up for the Steam Deck compatibility rating, which will presumably be visible in the storefront soon. I don't know how much this is going to be selling for. Currently, I think there's also going to be competition. Steam Deck. Let's have a look. I think the price is going to be it's currently going to be about $649. I think, but it's got a 512 gigabyte. So the competition is going to be there's Corsair's new one, i300, are all the range, as well as streaming PC to mobile devices or TVs. Valve's Steam Deck is set to be a new portable PC, as I've just said. Experience. It's coming. AyaNeo. I don't know if anyone's heard of that, but it's a company that appears to be taking more premium look at the portable gaming PCs. Its line of device look a lot like the Stream Deck, which also happens to look like the Nintendo Switch, which, because everyone's going to jump onto that idea anyway.
Yeah.
With a widescreen controller featuring analog sticks, D-pad, a face button on either side, but there's a huge difference in the build between the two, and also the price. The AyaNeo 2021 Pro, for example, is packing an AMD Ryzen 7 4800U CPU with a 1 terabyte SSD, and also costs, wait for it, $1,315. Steam Decks, for comparisons, are set to come in at a maximum memory capacity of 512 gigabytes at 649, which is what I've just said.
That's not a lot, is it?
No, I mean, so
How much is the Switch?
Switch.
Do we know?
I don't have the price comparisons.
A Switch is around, depending on the retailers, between and what package you buy, is they sell without anything for £249.
Yeah,
so price is going to be a big...
The new one,
Yeah.
the OLED one, sells for about £289.
Hmm.
So,
Why is it so expensive for the Stream Deck?
Steam. I don't know.
Steam.
But I mean, it will
be
be compatible with a lot of your games that are in your library. Obviously, there's with some that probably can't. Also set to release in February is AyaNeo's new high-end portable PC gaming, the Next Advance. This one is a real step up, hosting a Zen 3 Ryzen 5800U and a 2 terabyte of storage, and is only a tiny bit more expensive than the 2021 Pro at $1,345. On top of that, there is a 16 gig RAM, 7-inch high brightness screen, customizable joysticks with a magnetic hall sensor. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
why would you pay that? Look, honestly, right, with cloud gaming being the up and coming thing, Xbox, being the leading light in this, forget Google Stadia, because that's not even worth talking about, right? And it's dead and buried, that is. But Sony are going to be launching their own one as well. We ain't going to need high powered things like this. All you're going to need is a big screen with a decent internet connection.
Yeah.
And there's something that has capability of running stuff. A reasonably good graphics chip. And a reasonably good, a lot of memory and storage space. Storage space being the key, because most games are well over 100 gigabytes. 1 megabyte. 100 gigabytes.
1 megabyte.
Looking at you, Call of Duty, the 340 gigabyte download from Warzone. Example there. Right, so you've got you say you pick up a brand new Steam portable PC, and you're like, yeah, it's wicked. Right, 512 gigabytes will last you 4 games max. So you've got to constantly uninstall and reinstall games, which is going to defragment your hard drive, which will make it slow. Or it's probably what they're going to bank on. You can buy expansion slots and more hard drives to stick in it, because there's no way in hell that's going to fly with people that have lots of games. Like for me and for us, right, between us, we've easily got over 100 games on Steam, easily, right? So you want to put 100? I've got 29 installed at a minute on my Steam library. That's nearly 400 gig.
Yeah.
Right? So that's literally all that gone. So the next game comes out, you buy it. Oh, I've got no space. I've got to spend ages uninstalling stuff. So it's I don't understand why they do that. There's no literally the prices in hardware from a 512 to a 1 terabyte is minuscule. It's like £30 in costs. I would happily pay a little bit more and get a bigger hard drive than have to faff about buying expansion slots or expansion drives for these handheld systems that can't hold anything. 1 or 2 games especially at 4K, 8K res as well. That quadruples that hard drive space requirement. You know, it's not acceptable. They make these things so short sighted just to squeeze more money out of you. There's no way they're not going to have peripherals. Stuck not enough hard drive space. Have this extra hard drive for £130. Have this extra attachment for 120. You know, it's marketing,
I
and
don't see the point. I don't.
there is no point in it. There is no point investing in any of this. Unless you're like a show off and got loads of money. Like, oh, look at I just bought here. Look at all this. I've got the latest technology.
Yeah.
I can implant PC on my forehead. Who cares? You know, who cares? I mean, you don't need it. Cloud gaming. There you go. Save your money.
I was like, I saw someone made a YouTube video and they was talking about like, is it worth this? And what it was, I think there'd been news that Sony were about to release some more PlayStation 4s because there weren't enough PlayStation 5s. I don't know if that's a genuine thing or not, but it's like the point of his video was to say, is it worth that happening just because you can't get the latest things? It's like, and that's why it comes back to this. I don't know if I want a Switch. I don't know if I want a handheld. I don't know if I want. Well, I certainly don't want to pay £630 or whatever whatever the conversion is. I don't want to be paying that when I could just easily add that towards a decent PC, for example, and just play a PC. Do I have time on the? Do I want the latest thing just because it's released? And that's kind of the point of that video. It was like, do I want the latest thing? Should I just wait for the next PC upgrade instead? Yeah. Or am I going to use a handheld? And that's what got me thinking about looking at these handhelds. It's like I've never had a handheld game since the Game Boy came out, and I think I had it because everyone else had it. But did I want it because everyone else had it, or was I going to get any use out of it? And I think the bottom line is, if I'm at home, I'm going to be on my console or PC. Yeah. I'm not going to be using my handheld when I can easily just have this in front of me. So, yeah, I like the appeal that it's going for, but then if you're going to get swallowed up by that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to fish you in and say, look, it's got a Ryzen AMD. You go, wow. So is that's great. But so is my desktop. You know, my desktop runs an i7 or do you know what I mean? It's like,
I know. Yeah.
You know, the terabytes, the size of the one, the 1 terabyte, you think, well, okay, but I've got 10 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to compare things like that, it's like, so that's what got me thinking, was watching that, that little video that I'd seen, and then thinking, I don't know, do people still want handhelds? And I think the answer
from
question. Us, do people want handhelds now? Are we just selling people handhelds because of what I can say? Who is it aimed at? Who is that aimed at?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Who is it for? I mean, and are you really going to take these things outside at £1,300 a pop? Are you going to, if you drop them, that's it broken? How durable are these things? How replaceable are these parts? How much of a pain in the ass is it to get it fixed? These things aren't easy, especially for PC components. And
I'm just going to say,
I can't see it working, to be honest.
No.
I'm just going to say that everyone has a phone, right?
Yeah.
And people, like most people don't have time to play games while they're out most of the time because they're working or they're whatever they're doing. Yeah. So if someone wants to play a game, they'll probably download it on their phone. Like, you don't need to lug around this thing just to play Portal 2, which you could easily just play at home, which is a much better experience than out and about, like hearing. It's just I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Everyone has I don't think it's worth it.
When you think of gaming, right, you don't automatically think, oh, I'm out. Even if you're out and about, you're not going to be gaming. You're not going to be a gamer. If you're an out and about person, busy, doing stuff, working, doing whatever, don't like being indoors, there's very likelihood that you're not going to have a PC, or just for work purposes. You're not going to be
Yeah.
a gamer, right? You're not going to be that market.
And
right?
even if
So,
you were, you don't have time to play games.
exactly, you
probably.
won't have time to play it. So if you've got 1,300 quid burning a hole in your pocket and you want to experience gaming, you're going to invest in a desktop. There is no way in hell you're going to think, oh, well, I want a mobile PC. I can run around on my lap and drop it and break it and never use it again.
Use it.
Or, use it
Get
once and
stolen.
it sits on the desk somewhere because you've forgotten where you put it and it's sitting down the back of your sofa. So, you end up getting a Switch and you forget all about it. It's pointless. It is
Yeah.
pointless. There is no demographic audience where that is an actual must-have buy. Apart from to say, oh, look what I bought. That is
exactly.
literally what that is for. Look what I've got. Look at me, Mr. Tech Savvy Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is bragging rights, and why all that time and investment in designing something like that, they might as well have just invested in a monster PC and sold that instead, because they will sell more PCs with a top tier setup than some handheld, disaster that's more expensive than probably most of the stuff in his house, in terms of the technology. And you're going to take it outside? Are you really going to really risk dropping it and get stolen? It's this the risk reward on that is non-existent. You're not going to. You're going to have. It mind boggles my mind who sits in these offices and goes, "Oh, you know what we need? We need a handheld PC that's £1,500, so these nutters can buy them and swing them around their heads and go, look what I've got. Completely useless, but I've got one because I've got a PC. It's worth £3,000 sitting there." What? Why?
Kermit.
What is the point?
What? Kermit's there. What's Kermit doing there?
Hello.
No, I think I would echo what Beth
Kermit's
was.
rich, you can afford it.
Yeah, just sort of echoing what Beth said. It's like I sort of lost. That's it. I've lost it now.
That's it. We've lost it. We've lost the plot now. We're swimming now. We're swimming it.
Yeah. No, it's just I don't really see the point in them myself. I never did. It's having some like Beth said. Everyone's got a phone. If you really wanted to play a game, like I like to listen to occasionally. I like to listen to audibles when I'm on the train because it's something that's keeping my mind active whilst I'm traveling, so I don't have to look at everyone's faces on the train with their mask on. Everyone looks the same. Anyone who is wearing a mask, and then you sort of like questioning the ones who ain't, going, "Why are you not wearing?" But
why are you wearing?
Why are you not wearing? But like I'd be listening to audible. But if you wanted to, like as Beth said, you've got your phone. You could maybe download one of the idle games. I think we spoke about like Idle Champions, for instance. Like, just have that running in the background whilst you're on the train, and literally, like you'd actually have that. That would be the only real reason to have a game playing whilst you're at work. I think because you don't need to do a lot to it.
No, yeah.
But something, like I mean, I don't know. I say off the top of my head, like Portal 2. I'd rather have the comfort of sitting at my desk and doing it. Look, I'm sure there are people that do enjoy just sitting on their couch and playing on the Switch. I don't have a problem with that, but I don't see why you would want to spend. It's the newer things, £1,300.
It's the price tag. It's
the price tag because it advertises what's inside of it. I don't know if that's justifiable. I don't think it is. I mean, 512 gigabytes for the Steam Deck.
It's just a terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, $650.
Yeah, it's.
If you convert that to pounds, it's what? It's about £500. About £500, yeah. I mean, it's around about that sort of price tag.
You could get a new PC for that.
Yeah. But you could actually just get a new PC.
A laptop. You could get a laptop.
You could get an NVIDIA 3080 Ti for that money.
Why not just get a laptop?
PC.
That's much better than.
I've got an iPad and I do use it occasionally for work, and so for work purposes, but I don't need it all the time. I feel nervous having it in my bag,
Yeah.
And it's a lot more cheaper than one of those things in comparison.
Oh, just a tad. Just a smidgen.
So I'm
If you
nervous.
feel nervous to have that in
I'm
there,
nervous to have that. So yeah, I don't.
imagine having a Stream Deck
A
in
Stream
your
Deck
bag.
in my bag. I mean, you know, if you're only going to, you wouldn't take it to the beach. Like you wouldn't take it to the pool around the pool, like on the holiday. If you're on,
You'll
if
be
you're,
too scared, right? You'll just be
you,
like,
you
I don't
can't
want to
use it on a
break it.
plane unless you've got flight mode switched on, which probably doesn't work. so that doesn't work. So that's no good.
Yeah.
You're on the beach if you can get a holiday now, without having to show, you know,
Yeah.
some type of both your passports, not just one for your vaccine, but one for your obviously your mug, your face. So when you
your
go,
mug.
but like, if you wouldn't want sand to get inside it, you wouldn't want it to go near the pool in case someone kicked your bag and it falls in. You've got kids running around that pool. Where's your Steam Deck then? It's at the bottom of the pool. Who's going in to get it? No one. The little kid who's kicked it in and run off with it and said to his mum, "Look what I found."
Look what I found in the water.
But no, I just felt like it was worth mentioning. Like, are handhelds now relevant anymore? Yeah, some people do like Switches. Yeah,
the Switch is good.
They are at a fraction of the cost of what they are coming out as. Yeah, I get that new technology needs to be paid for and stuff like that, but do you really need to spend that sort of money on, if you're on a journey for like 2 hours? What's the battery life?
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen what
That's
the battery life.
The battery life. How long is it going to last? Because it's
looking at
2 hours.
Yeah, looking at the specs.
5 minutes.
The battery would be massive. That would be really heavy. Surely.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find.
Requirement.
I'm just trying to find it right now.
That's a good point because the
battery, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Go on.
No, the components that it has in it, right? They probably need quite a lot of power for it. So with a PC, you're plugged into a mains, right? And you're constantly getting the power. But if if you can't constantly plug it in, it's probably going to drain quickly because it's running more. It's going to run quite.
It'll run down more, yeah.
I'm not sure.
So yeah,
it's fine. You'll have your Homer Simpson power pack with you. There you got for Christmas. You plugged into it. That'd be no problem.
So just
just
to recap on the power. Then it is 2 to 4 hours. It's a 40 WHR battery. You got a 45 watt USB Type C. Will be your power supply for your input power supply, but your battery is a 2 to 8 hour gameplay.
2 hours.
2 to 8 hours.
2 hours. So if you're playing a high intense game like Doom, for instance, 2 hours, it's dead. What's the point?
Yeah, I mean, you might be okay. You might get 8 hours of Stardew Valley.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You might finally get 4 hours. You know, you might really
get
struggle
4
with
hours.
that.
Yeah. That
might come up.
That says gameplay, but that doesn't say how much. Like, if you've got the backlight as well, how much does that use as well? Like, turn the backlight off, you might extend it a little bit longer, but then you can't see nothing.
Unless if you haven't got all the other apps running, like your Discords, your Twitters, all that other stuff.
Yeah, whatever else it can pick up. Yeah. So that's the Steam Deck. Coming out in Feb. If you want it.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but we don't believe in it.
Just, you
know,
if he picks up that vibe,
you may have just
it.
Not feeling that at all.
No.
And as for the other one, the AyaNeo.
Not even worth thinking about.
Oh, the Corsair.
Expensive.
The Corsair's new one, the i300 as well. There's 3. There's actually it doesn't give me anything on that. That's the mini PC. Sorry, that's what it's referring to. It's just comparison. It's the mini PCs. The Corsair is what that was referring to. Sorry. But either way, mini PCs. Yeah. I don't know. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a KFC tower coming out where you cook your chicken in it and play games at the same time.
Do you know what? I'm not sure when it's coming out.
That to me is more interesting than some £1,300 bloody bricks that you're not going to use.
That does seem more interesting, actually. Cook some chicken.
Buy that instead. Buy that. You can have nice chicken and you can play games at the same time. There you go. Keep your chicken warm.
No,
There
I
you go.
couldn't. Yeah, no, I couldn't find. All it kept coming up with was the when it said
I don't know if that was a
PC.
joke or what, if that was a serious thing or
I don't
what.
know. I don't know if it is or not.
It looks serious, but you know,
It
I've
looked
heard
serious at the
about it.
time. Yeah.
They mentioned it.
What? I can't think of nothing worse than having greasy fingers once you're on the keyboard and
Oh,
mouse.
imagine.
I mean,
Ew.
that
All over
freaks.
your
I can't touch
controller.
my.
That's gross.
I can't touch my.
Imagine the grease.
Grease tray you have to clean out as well.
I've got a fairly decent mouse, and I don't want greasy fingers over it. I can't. You know, it's not the best mouse in the world, but I can't. I like my little mouse, and it's not. I just don't. I don't want it when the buttons getting blocked up with grease and grime, and I can't think nothing worse. I guess I'm just one of those clean kind of freaks. There are some people who don't.
Yeah, I don't.
And I can never. Has anyone been invited to a friend's house and you've touched the mouse? It's like, I don't want to. Can I wash? Can I wash my hands now, please? No shout out to any of my friends, but yeah.
Wipes and disinfectant.
There you go. Put all that on the back of that £1,300 handheld. I'm sure people will buy it then, just for the instant access to disinfectant gel and tissues and masks. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Put that on there. Let's see if emergency kit for £1,300. Plus, it's a PC. There you go.
Plus, it's a PC.
Survival kit. Or, you know, pop out toilet when you really need it. You know.
When is it? Oh no! No. When does it end? When does it end? Let's.
It never ends. Oh no!
The gaming chair has now become something else. It's just like
Bits and pieces.
Gaming toilet.
Of my fragmented brain. Yes.
Okay. Is it joke time?
Yes, please. Let's move on.
Joke time.
Let's do the joke now.
Okay, this is a good one. I don't know if I've said it before. That'll be really awkward if I had said it before. Okay. Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut? He just needed a little space. Yeah. Good one.
And on that bombshell, it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, let's do some socials and stuff like that. Like let's start with 3D. Are you streaming this week? And if so, are you going to be playing anything? Where can we find you?
Yes, I am. I'm going to be streaming Tuesday. But the game I'm playing is a surprise.
Ooh.
So you have to tune in at 9 p.m.
No. I'm not telling you.
Yeah, exactly. See what I'm playing. It's got an RPG, and
Okay.
something I've been off for a little while.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna stick at it for every Tuesday for a little while.
Is it on the Game Pass?
No, actually, it's not.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
It's on Epic. It's on Epic.
Oh.
I have an Epic game to play.
I don't know what that is.
Intriguing. I may have to tune in and find out at 9 on Tuesday.
You might win a sweetie. Oh, give me sweets. Please come along. That sounds so wrong.
I may miss it. I might miss the first hour because of traveling. I might miss the first hour, but I should be back home by the time you're just sort of in full swing.
Excellent. So please reply. I'm also going to be playing some horror stuff next week as well. So please pop by to see me cry. More Layers of Fear, and I'm going to be playing the second one.
Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear, eh?
I finished that game, and oh boy.
Ooh, okay.
That's a pretty scary game.
I may have to definitely drop by that. Sorry, Beth. Yeah.
No, I still continuing to try and stream as much as possible.
Excellent.
I will be trying out next week. I'm not sure when, but I will be trying out GTA 5 role playing. I'm gonna try it out. I played some yesterday, and I got into some really goofy situations. So I'm gonna try it out next week. Hopefully, my chat gives me ideas on maybe what character they want me to play, and just lots of, just try something different, try something new. and there'll be other stuff, you know. That's it. I'm
There'll be
done.
other stuff, but we've been very secretive this week as to what we're playing and what we're doing.
Just
Yeah. We're not telling
stuff.
you. Sorry.
Just
no,
stuff.
Stuff.
secret.
There will be games involved. That's all we know.
Yep.
Yeah, you can catch me twitch.tv/funnybitsboy. That's BOI. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to be continuing my Prognostics tomorrow, which is the Sunday, which follows this.
Not that again.
Yeah, I'm going to try and finish that off. I might do some more of the
Progress.
Ghost Exile just to give that another try.
I
'cause
want to
picked
see you
up-
play that. To be
So
honest.
I might be, yeah, I'll probably just do some of that tomorrow as well.
I'll come
And
by.
then I'm not sure if I'm going to be back on time. I've got to go somewhere next week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be here. If not, well, the podcast will still continue without me, I'm sure. But yeah.
Not
yeah.
about the main house.
I'm hopefully, I'm not sure, but the podcast will definitely return. I'm promising that. So yeah. Hopefully I will be back next weekend. But as for me, yeah, I'd probably do something after we finish this. Where I'll reset my stream, but tonight, and then like I said, yeah, tomorrow we'll be doing some more horrors. I'm going to try and find who done it. It's a who done it. That's what that game is. It's a who done it, but with ghosts and dead people. And
that's what I
yeah.
said. I said in the thing. It's like Scary Cluedo.
It's Scary Cluedo. Yeah, that's what I couldn't think of earlier, and it sort of stumped me a little bit. So if I look stumped, it's just my natural look. But
that's just how I look.
Anyway, let's not do another long outro as we did last week.
Right.
That went on forever.
Yeah, let's do it. It's good.
It did.
Yeah, the outro lasted as long as that. The main show.
So what I had for dinner now.
What I had for dinner. Right, so yeah, we're all done. Thank you very much for watching if you was watching. Thank you very much for listening if you were listening. We are, of course, over on Apple iTunes podcast there. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud. We're on Audible as well as a weekly episodic thing that we do there as well. You might be able to find us everywhere on any other platform. Everywhere. You'll find us everywhere. Give us a like on the podcast. It does mean a great deal. If you like it, download it, share it. I've got some demographics that I can look at, and I know that people are not sharing it. So please
share it, please.
Share it. I know that it's taken a little bit of a dip in the last couple of episodes, so I'm hopefully pleading to anyone who's out there. Just like, follow, share it with people. Just give us a bit of a mention. But we're done for this week. Look forward to seeing you all again next time on the Bits and Pieces podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next week. Well. We're out.
visitors because you get 300 points just for visiting, don't you? So
Mm.
I think I've lost